that situation.
I have another question.
Sure.
It's not really a question, an observation. I've managed a few contact centers, as Jamie knows, so I know a little bit about telecommunications. But what I have noticed that the technology has changed quite a bit. I know I have my phone to recognize an unknown caller. So now most of them have their systems that they'll actually say, I don't recognize this number, if you'll leave a message. So they automatically take you to voicemail if they don't recognize the number. Whereas before, people just picked up the phone because they didn't know who was on the other end. So I'm wondering if you've taken into consideration that technology has changed so much that the average home person, their phone system is set up to recognize an unknown caller dialing in, and to drive that call to the voicemail, so that you actually don't speak to a person.
Well,
I forgot about that. That's
no,
happened.
on the call ID it has Rebate Realty
Oh,
USA.
I understand
Yeah.
that. The problem is, it's an automated system that's scanning the number coming in,
yeah.
and it's driving you directly to voicemail.
Yeah.
Which is good because you still make contact.
Correct.
But I'm wondering if you understand that, and that maybe, perhaps you may want to use in your strategy the direct mail format too. Don't think that because we didn't contact them that they're not interested. It's only because
Oh no.
you may need to take that to the next step.
No. We don't. Just because you don't get a hold of them doesn't mean the fact. That's why our mail campaigns.
Yeah.
We're going to take, even though you did not get a hold of them. Absolutely, we're not taking that. Now, some that I rate low, I may not do that mailer because we're just gonna. We're working on percentages, but our higher ones that we feel that we want, the ones we want, we're going to attack.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're going to do mailers. Then even we're going to take it to the point of actually sending some of our guns to the homes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you're taking that into consideration.
That's why I need to know.
And know that technology has made a shift, and it's really. Have you noticed that too, Glenn? That you go directly, it'll tell you that we don't recognize your number, so we're going to voicemail.
Well, it didn't say that. It just said that they weren't in. And
yeah, some of them
said
the
number. They didn't even recognize the person.
Sure.
It didn't say the name.
Well,
let me ask you a question. And while we're here talking, has anyone asked you in reference to commissions? Have they ever talked to you about commissions at all yet?
I don't go into that.
Okay, well I know you won't. You're not supposed to, but I just know if they had even tried to take you down.
No, but they have asked me what does that mean, and I explained that the commission is we find a buyer, we offer those commissions to a percentage of our commissions to the buyer, which makes the property very attractive to the prospective buyer because they can use that rebate any way they choose to. And so that I had to do that maybe with two people because they were familiar with the name Rebate USA. I have not seen any marketing for Rebate USA, so I'm not sure how that they learned about it or how they knew about it. But evidently, this was an educated owner lister, and they knew a little bit about rebate. They wanted to know who gets the rebate.
Okay.
And that was about that, maybe two people.
Okay. I told you about the gentleman who wanted to relist and asked about commission, and he was going to list for 4% with someone. He spoke to someone over the phone and was going to relist for 4%. So I told you about that one.
Yeah, and somebody had said that they want to list for 4%, and what they're starting to so what happens in many of these cases is like who low guy wins, and this is why when you give a presentation, a lot of times I go in and I'm not the first guy, it could be the second guy. And that's why I remember what I said. I win 3 out of 4 times I go in, and sometimes these guys come in at 3%, 4%, 1%, all kinds of crazy deals that they come in there. And there's some companies in there that are just they're just pay me a few dollars and I'll put it on my list for you. So it's all kinds of different programs and design scenarios out of here. We have a strategy that really will beat everyone, and that goes for just these guys that are low commission structures. They had it on the market for a certain fee, so that they got maybe 4%, 5%, whatever they had it. We negotiate our fees, but sometimes depending upon what they want in marketing. That's why when somebody quotes me and they're quoting on 4% over the phone, they haven't seen the property. That's a silly thing to say. I'm going to list it for X percentages, depending upon what they want and what they're looking to do. I want to know what the kind of marketing they want me to do. What kind of, do we want aerial photos? Do we want brochures? Where do we want to market this property? How do we want to market this property? What kind of money do we want to spend because we're a real estate company that actually spends money. It's really easy to say we're going to do it for 4% because they're going to spend no money. So if you don't spend any money, yeah, I'll do it for 4%. Do it for 3.5%. What the hell? Put it on the market. Throw it on the market. If it sells, don't, like again, put it on the market. Put a sign on and what? Pray. And if it sells, what do we get? A fee. If it doesn't sell, we just lost the cost of putting a sign on. That's what realtors' mentality is. And that's not what a seller should be thinking about. A seller should be thinking about who's actually going to market and who's going to sell this property if they want to sell. Not who's going to do it cheaper, who's actually going to succeed. Who's going to get me more money? How about that? Would you like to list with somebody who's actually going to get you more?
So let's bring this back to your original question. If we make a call and the seller is interested in the commission platform or
Sure.
what our strategy is around commissions or what our policy is, how do you want us to respond to that?
We give buyer rebates, which help sellers get more buyers. Buyer rebates, sellers are negotiable. Commissions are negotiable.
So
you want to say seller discounts if you want to say buyer rebates. But again, discounts may not help. We give probably about 1% back to a buyer typically. If we get a buyer, they get about 1% of our commission, or thereabouts, 3/4 of a percent, depending on the price. But they get a percentage of our fee back from a buyer's perspective. But how does that help the seller? Of course, we're attracting more buyers, so that certainly does help.
Absolutely.
But a seller on that circumstance, that we could list it, our commissions from a 5, 4, whatever that percentage will be, depending upon where and how many times we're going to advertise, where we're going to do it. I look at a house, I determine where the buyer's going to come from, and the buyer we could be looking for 1 or 2 different types of buyers, right? And that may not be one type of buyer that we're looking for. It could be 2 or 3 different types of buyers that could be interested in that buyer. Maybe a first-time buyer, maybe a retired couple. Could be 2 or 3 different types of buyers. Then we're going to go after those segments. And how and where we're going to go after those segments is the cost factor that will go into the listing fee, and that's what we explain to a seller.
So my response to a seller would be that it depends on the agent's analysis of the property, and it also depends on the marketing strategy that you both agree upon.
Exactly.
Is that
and his budgets, because he may not want us to do all that. If it's not going to be in his budgets for us to do, then that's fine. Then we can always work within his budget.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull from you what you want us to say. How do you want us to say?
I want you to say is not to get into it. That's why the professional comes in to do that, not you.
Absolutely.
And that's why you don't need to go into. There's so many angles to this. It would be doing a disservice for you to get into it.
So you prefer that we state that we'll let the agent discuss.
Yes,
that
but
with
here's the beauty of it is, any company that comes
contract.
in, I can guarantee you we're going to beat them.
Okay.
We're going to beat any offer.
Okay.
We're going to beat any offer that they're going to have on the table. Anyone and everyone.
Okay then.
We're going to beat them all.
We're
going to beat them all. Whatever they have on the table, we're going to beat them all.
I just wanted the facts. Thank you
I can
so
tell you
much.
that right now. We're going to beat any offer on the table, and all the offers. And I'm not going to down any real estate company. You never down the competition, but I can debunk any offer.
That helps. Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay, let's go through. Anything else? Because I know, Jamie, you call a lot. I mean, you call quite a bit. And I know you've been calling for a long time. Anything else that we need to go over as to what that would be helpful into?
Well, I agree with Joanne. I think a lot of people are just tired and just want a break.
And that's where empathy and to be able to get them, go back to the beginning, go back to the why were they selling, try to get them to talk, get them to communicate, get them to, you got to get people talking. You get that bond and trust a little bit, that, and that we understand, and really, and again, really, we're not just a typical realtor. We're just not that. And that's what we're talking about here, and this is why I want to put this on tape here, is because what we do and what every real estate company should and agent should be doing is differentiating. Everyone has to do something different. And that's why I created Rebate Realty USA. It's the only product that actually differentiates you to an amazing way that actually helps people. This actually helps people. That's why when I said to you, even when they relist with the same realtor, I love the fact that a realtor gave great service and they were that happy with them, if they were. Sometimes they list because they don't know any better. That's when I hate that. When they just, because they went down there and re-signed it, and then these poor devils are going to be stuck with them for another 6 months because they don't know any better. But if an agent really has done the job for that seller, they deserve to stay with that agent if they're doing the job correctly. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what we have found out and what is in the marketplace, agents do not call back. You're going to find out that there is no communication. Have you found that to be the case? Absolutely. The case is realtors just put the signs on and they forget the sellers.
Some don't like teams. Some sellers are not aware that some of the agents work on teams. So a listing agent comes out, and then that person disappears, and they don't have a relationship with the agent who's showing the property and doing that. So that was a new one.
Yeah, I know that happens, but I wasn't aware of. I haven't had any.
And then agents mislisting the property. In our market now, with a lot of investors out there, everyone's putting every property as investor special, or investment properties. And it's not an investment property. The owner doesn't feel that property is an investment property. They're looking for a retail buyer, but the agent is marketing it as a
investment
investor
for
special.
rehabbing.
Yeah, something like that.
Flipping
or just because it's an investor market now. So they're marketing every property as an investor special, something just to attract buyers, but they're bringing investors and not retail buyers or regular buyers. So that can
be problematic.
Those are some of the issues that some of the people that I speak to, that they're like, I'm tired. I don't want to. I don't trust you because you're not marking my property correctly. You're listing as an investor property. Are you marketing it to investors? And that's not what I want. I want you to sell it at retail.
Absolutely, they want homeowners.
They
want something that they have an emotional attachment to their home, and they raise their family in that home, and they're hoping that the next people that take the home will do the same thing. And so they think that there's a cold way of marketing, and they're not happy with that. I did hear that. I did have one more question. Someone is rehabbing their own home. They realize because that was on the market for a long period of time and didn't sell. One of the reasons is because they needed to update it a little bit, freshen it a little bit. I sent a note to you, and I think you may have seen it.
I saw.
Where the people want a specific callback. He actually gave me a time when he wants you to call him back. But I also provided him with the office number, just so that he had it for his records.
Okay.
How do you act on those?
The beauty of that, let me give you an example. One of our agents who listed his 16th house, by the way, with our training here, he had a seller that I went to, and we analyzed that property, and they had the cash, they had already moved out, they had a house, and we analyzed selling the property as is. Then we analyzed the property if they did X amount of work. Then we we analyzed the property if they did the full-fledged work and what they could get. They're in the process of doing the whole full-fledged.
And that's
Off
what
of
it's
my,
called.
off of my numbers, and guess what? My numbers were spot on to the T. We not only did that, we got them a licensed contractor to provide the contract, and the contractor's doing it at the price that I quoted to them, and they're gonna get, we're gonna put it on that market. And that's the type of service that we provide. We provide all that service. We go in there, we'll go in there and tweak the house. We'll go in there and say, hey, let's get a stager, let's go in here and let's do this wall or not do that. We say, no, don't do that work. That won't get you the dollars. You put 1,000 in there, you're not gonna get your 1,000 out. Or you put 1,000 there, you could sell a little quicker. So we analyze to whether it makes sense or not makes sense. And then we make decisions to see if that makes sense to do it or not to do it. That's the beauty of what we do.
Yeah.
You'll get a,
Well, that's good to know. That really is good to know, that you'll partner with the seller in helping them make good decisions when it comes to marketing their product. So that is real. That I did not know that you would do that.
you'll get callers, you'll get sellers that are currently in the midst of rehabbing a property and they want to call back maybe 2 months or a month down the road. How should we address those?
Well, the thing to do, and here's the thing that you want to do. I have great calls and great conversations. Once you do that, we'll get you thank you notes. Always send whenever you get a good, today you can send them a nice email or and say thank you for your thing, and that's wonderful to do that. Emails are great. You can send them an email. Wonderful talking to you, and do that. Great. But you know what? A physical thank you note from like a card that we'll give you that has personalization. That's what works even better. That we send that out on immediately. Pleasure talking to you. Blah blah blah. Some personal things that you had in the conversation, and we'll be in touch, and give them some information or numbers of who they need to get us sooner. And that's when we have articular files as to how and when we should be back in touch with these people. And then we'll make a determination depending on the conversation, because people sometimes, when they say they are going to wait, though sometimes it is or isn't, may or may not be to their advantage, then we have to make that determination. But if it is a situation where it is going to be a wait state, then we do what we need to do, build our rapport, and then we stay in contact. Sometimes I like to go down and talk to them, even though it may be 2 or 3 months. Why I like to meet the caller, we can build a great rapport over the phone. We talked about that today. You can build a great rapport over the phone in many cases, and sometimes it solidifies when I do it over the phone, but nothing beats a one-on-one. Nothing beats when I can get into the house and actually have a sit down at a table, or we sit in the living room, have a nice conversation, and they can ask me questions, they can actually, meet the person who's going to be marketing for them. And that really does solidify. They can feel warm and fuzzies, and they can feel like they're going to be in good hands when they have it. And what happens at that point, if they do get anybody else that makes that phone call, mentally in their mind they've already made a decision that this is the company they're going with, and they're not going to interview anybody else. So you kind of want to knock everybody else out of the picture. Remember, we talked about somebody that's going to list their house in February, March, whatever they're going to list it with. So I said, some thank you notes, do what you're going to do, maybe get in the door, talk to them. We're talking about somebody's going to list it in February, March. Maybe talk to them now, tell them what we do, some of the things that we uniquely do differently, and then send them thank you notes, but then maybe at Christmas, send them a nice little Christmas card, and then maybe in January, February, get back together with them.
So let me just make this clear based on piggybacking on what Jamie's question was. You will contact the seller, even though they're not ready to go on the market now, and then after the agent has gone over marketing strategies that we have, then you'll send a thank you note out to the, am I getting that clear?
Sure.
I just wanted to summarize to make sure I've got it clear. Okay, so there is contact.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, many times people, they're going to say they're going to list it in February, and I get in the door and I start talking to them, and after really analyze everything, and I call it painting a picture. I say this 1,000 times in my training. painting a picture. After I ask questions, get into the really why they're selling, what the situation is, where they're moving, the whole everything that they're doing. And after I paint this in picture and analyze, then I start asking real deep questions to them. We find out that February is not what they really need to do at all. It's the last thing they need to do. They need to put it on right now. What are you doing in February? What are you talking about? You not need to be waiting February. You better be putting it on right this second. There's a man in Catonsville. I went out on his listing, and we were talking, and as we're talking, and he said, "Well, I'm going to put it on. I'm retiring in April, so I'm probably going to put it on next year." It was in it was in the end of summer. I said, "Okay, well, let me come down anyway." So we came down there, and I looked beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I'm retiring, and end of April, and but I'm gonna get this fixed, that fixed, and but hadn't bought a house yet. But as he's talking more and more and more, I'm going, wait a minute. I didn't know I can't remember all the situations, but it didn't sound to me as if he needed to wait to April, or you need to go now, for whatever reason. And the beauty of the rebate just came into play perfectly, because he wanted to go find a house. I said, well, this house is going to sell like this. Why don't you, because we don't know what the rates are going to do. And the rates were, because he didn't have like a lot of money. So rates were if the rates went up even 1%, it could really affect that payment. I said, why don't you go buy a house, go down there and let's see what you can, you don't even know what you can afford, you don't know what's down there, you don't know anything. Why don't you go down there and see what the hell you can find? But the beauty of the rebate is very simple. Let us go find you an agent, and here's how it works. We'll get you the rebate. I'll find you an agent, and we're going to give you a rebate, because we're a rebate company. Really? Yep. So when you go down there, we'll find you the agent, and when you go through us, we're going to get you the rebate. Well, sure as shooting, he loved that. He loved the fact that I said, that's going to actually defray your cost of us listing the house, because part of the money is what you're going to get from the rebate is going to help defray the listing costs. Sure enough, and I said, you ought to think about putting this house on the market. We can put contingency on it that you find a house of your choice, but you have a place to move. Again, painting the picture, he had already got a place. I said, we can make this a facility. So as we're talking more and more, you saw the enthusiasm that this is really going to happen. He needed somebody to facilitate it. He needed somebody to actually. He was a divorced man, and not just I love men, I love women more. But the thing is that he just needed somebody to push him. You follow? He just was kind of like the bump on the log, and he couldn't. He just said, "You ever hear the expression? I'll get around to it later." He figured I'm going to get around to it later. Well, I kind of said we're going to get around to it now. Let's not put it off. Let's do it now, because you do it later, rates go up even 1%, could knock you out of the box. What you could afford down there then could be less of a house. You could get more of a house if rates are where they are right now. I'd rather you know what you have in your hand, bird in hand, right now. Goes down there, falls in love with this house, goes, oh my God, George, we got to get rocking. He's, you got me motivated. What are we? We're motivators. We call to action. We make people motivate. We get people moving. We get them up off their seats, get them out the door. We get them going. Now, exactly what I did. He flew down there. He got moving. Put a contract in, contingent. Put his house on the market. It sold in 3 days. Not April. It sold in the summer. We sold it in a week. He was on his merry way. He is loving life. He's in his new home. I mean, this is what we do for people. That's why I love real estate. We change people's lives. And we get paid money for doing it. Are you kidding me? But we have to be able to do that. Could another realtor done that? Not many could have done that. We just got to be able to read the situations, understand, give them the options, and help them make the decisions.
I got one more. Resetting the days on market. So their property has been listed for, I don't know, 180 days. And and then they're like, hey, I just want to take it off so I can reset it, you know.
I get that, but here's the point with that. That's when bad realtors. I don't need multiple lists to sell a house. That's the misnomer of we're all multiple listed realtors. But would you think I need multiple lists to sell a house? Seriously? Do you really think I need those? No disrespect to the 30-whatever-thousand realtors are out there. If I needed them to make my living, I'd be broke. Any realtor that needs multiple lists to make their money, you better have a plan of action to sell that property when you go in that door. And multiple lists is just a tool. So what you're saying to me, and what you're saying is, I better have an MLS or I can't help you sell that house. Is that what you're saying to me? I don't need MLS to sell this house.
But
I am going to multiple list your house, but those days on the market, do you think, does it hurt me? But you know what hurts me more? Taking it off the market, because I know one thing for sure. If it's off the market, it can't sell.
That's when the owners, that's what a lot of owners say.
But when they take it off, doesn't that reset the
No,
the
it does
date?
not.
It doesn't?
No.
I mean, like if you take it off for a month and then you put it back on MLS,
No.
won't
No,
it
it has to
resuck
be off
so
for-
it
it has
doesn't
to-
look stale?
Has to be off the market for a period of time.
What time? How
I'm
long?
not sure what is the part, 3 months or whatever.
Probably, I think.
Whatever the period of time is.
So that's why people do it. Is that? Because
Yeah,
I always
they
wondered
wanna-
why do they do
They
that?
want to reset the
To
clock.
zero.
To zero.
Because if it shows 356 days,
It looks
people are looking
stale.
at it as like it's stale. It's
Yeah.
been on market. for-
Something's wrong with it.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. That was a good
But
question.
here's the point.
So
We are not, let me finish. Absolutely, that's why I say to you, most realtors put a sign on the property and pray that other realtors are going to sell it. So the misnomer is, if you got one of those realtors, better run, Forrest, run. Get away from that realtor. I don't need MLS to sell your house. We better have a strategy better than MLS. I get the days on the market. We got to have a better, so better be 1 day on the market or 180 days on the market. Doesn't have a hill of beans difference. The property up in Harford County we had was 200 days on the market. Went off the market, in 3 days later it sold. It showed 186 days on the market. Doesn't matter. It's the marketing of the property, it's the price of the property, it's the strategies of the property that make the difference.
You want to show probates real quick while I have them out?
Yes, let me take them real quick if we have time.
So this is the letter. And that's what I send out once that letter's sent. And then this is just last week's.
So when they say that they're going to wait, all I know for a fact is when you physically take a property off the market, it can never sell. So you've lost all that time. If you pick a realtor that they're holding their then you don't want that realtor. I don't care how many. I don't care if you have 1,000 days on the market. I don't need another realtor to sell my properties. That we are multiple listed, but I better have a strategy that's going to help a seller sell that property, that we are going to sell that property. Days on the market matters a little, but not a lot. It matters to most realtors because that's what they're depending upon. They're depending on other people to sell the property. That's the difference between you as a real estate who should make a lot of money. That should not make a difference in strategy. Not at all. Not at all. And that's why that should be our strongest selling point. That's why the realtors say, yeah, they're going to want you to do that because they think the 0 days on the market is going to make a huge difference. Well, they're depending on other people. And the key to really moving properties is picking the right person, the right strategy to sell properties in today's market. Today's market is a market of who has the best strategy. It's not moving. It's supply and demand. There's a lot of homes on the market because of short sales, bank owns, a lot of market out here. A lot of investors buying and fixing and flipping properties. So you have a huge amount of properties for sale, and you have a little bit of buyers. Little bitty buyers, a lot of sellers. So that's supply and demand. So sellers are at a little bit of a disadvantage. With that being said, what do they need? they need a better strategy. We have the better strategy. So confidence, not cocky. I am confident we have the better strategy. Close to being cocky, but very close, very confident. Extremely confident. Extremely that we have the better strategy. And that's all, and I know it, and I can prove it without question what we do. So days in the market matter to the other realtors because they depend on the other realtors. We do not, and we shouldn't.
Before you go into Rebate, I know you had a question.
Yeah, I'm going to ask because I'm not ready for this because I want to go over this first.
Okay.
Because I have about 25 more minutes with you guys.
When I was looking at DOM, and then it was a large number, and then I looked and it was June, and I was going, those days didn't add up. So that was relisted evidently.
There's two dates that you're going to look at on the listing itself. The total days on the market and when the last change was made. Two dates. Could have been 600 days on the market, and then the last change could have been 62 days. So the last change that was done on that listing was 62 days ago. But it's been on for 600 days. So there's two different dates that you may see.
Okay.
Right? So, like I don't have one in there, but...
Yeah, it's DOM MLS and DOM prop. So...
Right. Well, this one's 119, 119.
No change were made. They didn't relist or change anything on the listing, so...
So you have in here, the only one that I saw, renovating property off market request back in April, and provided the office number. That's one. He's renovating. Well, here's a point. He's re-renovating the property. Put it on the market. You want to revamp it. He's going to work the property. Well, that's what we want to go down there. What are we renovating? Let's look at what he's renovating. Make sure that he's doing the proper work. You know, I've only done about 600 homes. I'd be a pretty good person to go down there and make sure he's renovating what we need to renovate proper. Making sure that, that he's doing the right things, spending the right money. Just like that particular person over in West Baltimore who's putting in she had an estimate, so swear to goodness, that I saved her a third of contractor's price. A third. They were going to take her face off of dollars. Contractors, no disrespect to contractors, they're good ones and bad ones, just like in anything else. Her prices were, that's why she wasn't doing all the work.
They saw it coming.
And they saw her, she had a lot of this, and they were going to get it. They were getting all her money. So guess what? I protected her. That's why we're getting that $300,000 listing. Because I came in there and we got the right contractors at the right price, and now she opened up, did all the work, and she's going to get a big number for her house. But she was limited. The numbers were so bad that she couldn't even get the bathroom or kitchen done. She's getting everything done for much less money. So that's why I said, the man's renovating, we're putting it back on. Let's see what he's renovating, see what his price is, maybe we can help him. We're perfect people to get in there. We can help him. Not only, there's other things we can do to actually help them, to see what work to be done, how we can work the prices, what we can do to help them, and market. So we come in a lot of different ways to do this properties. A lot of different ways we can help people. A lot of different ways we help them. Okay? Perfect time. We should be making appointments. That's another way when you talk to people who are doing, let me come down there, let me look at it. Okay, ready to list, speaking to several real estate companies, has not signed yet. Well, yeah, we need, call the office. We need it, whoop, 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 whoop. Lawrence, we need to get, we need just set up an appointment. Don't worry about calling somebody, just set an appointment. We'll send somebody down, we'll send somebody to talk to that person. Currently renting the property. They put it out for rent. You know, the only thing you may have been able to do, not much more you could do with that other than saying, can the renter buy it?
Yeah. I sent one, I think, the day before, it was similar, but I made, the difference was that the person was renting month to month, so the seller, I said seller may still be interested in getting rid of the
Now
property.
you're talking to me.
This
Gotcha.
one, I couldn't tell from the seller whether they were still interested in putting the property on the market, because they said, well, we're already locked into a lease.
Yeah.
And, but I still thought, well, a lease is usually a year. You may wanna put this on the back burner and call them back in a year and see if
They got a 2-year lease on that one.
they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, then you're not. Now, when they say we're taking it off the market, sometimes no is no.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, and I
Well,
said, well,
sometimes
better just don't send it to you
sometimes
guys.
no is no, but sometimes no could be a maybe.
Yeah,
It all depends on why they were selling to begin with.
and that's what I
It's
thought
the
about
why.
that one. It might be a maybe.
It's a why. It could be why are they selling? And that remember, they're taking it off the market because, that's when I go down and talk to people, and when they've taken it off the market and I go in there and I talk to them, and then they get that call a month later, and they say, now I'm taking it off the market. They just don't, they say that because they've already picked me. And they just say that to the realtors to get rid of them. Or they don't, or many times they just mentally have given up. Like a lot of the sellers say, I'm done for a minute.
Okay.
Until somebody has given them the reason for them not to give up.
Okay.
And we may have to be that reason for them to say, wow, there is life out there, there is a shot. Right? Okay, we have about 15 more minutes, so do we have anything else before I get into the last of our things? I'm going to touch on this. You may get this next. I want to make sure that you're certified next, that you're good with what you got. So
I
get
want
a
to make
handle on
sure
this.
that you're good with what you got from us.
Yeah, you're great. You're
Okay,
great. We know when we know what we do, and if it's something we can actually make a little better, then like the one, we know now that you know that, and as we were making our calls, sure enough, we got that call and said that they relist us. And when I was telling them we can't, that one step is somebody's going to slip in and get it, and sure enough, they did. And I already knew. I knew they were hot as all get out. So
Okay.
that's okay. And for the ones that we can't get a hold of, I need to get them sooner so that we can get our people to those doors or letters. And we're going to start those letter campaigns. And as I report on camera, I'm going to start reporting our numbers so that we can statistically show what we get. So that when I got the 200 and some odd listings, it was pretty amazing at that time. I told you I got a little injury back then, and I really couldn't walk that well. I really couldn't walk. But they got me in the door, and that's all. That's my ability to be able to communicate and be able to do this. Not easy. It was not easy, but I can tell you, I know the program. I know our product line, and our sincerity is real, and that's what people buy. People buy real. They buy, and I know it works. I know what you're doing. Will be doing. You're doing good work for people. That's the key. They're going to be taken care of. Okay? So, with that being said, we, as Rebate Realty USA, as I said, we are making advances to get listings in different pools in different areas where we are going and attacking. One of the ways and what we are looking for when we build a business, and especially when we're looking for buyers and sellers, and now we're talking about sellers in particular, we're going after withdrawals expires. We're going after internet type leads that we buy, get those that are out there. We abstract those, but we also go after properties of people that passed away, people that obviously that when people buy they've been left with properties. Go to probate. The executors of wills get these properties. They don't want these properties in many cases. So would you think in many cases, for example, I have a property right now where the property, for example, I'll give you a perfect example of one right now that I'm looking at. I'm going to give you one that I'm actually looking at. to see it, of course. Always has to be that way. That we send these letters out. These are done on a, on a monthly basis. And we send it to people that we know the properties. We do all the counties, but we do know the properties in which where the properties have, where they passed away. Like for example, we have one that in a county was in Harford County. This property is in Jarrettsville, which is in Harford County area. Man passed away. The executor of this estate lives in Las Vegas. Now, probably that seller or that particular property that was left to the executor doesn't want that property. May be motivated to sell that property, wouldn't you think? So we've sent out letters to these people. Now, a lot of them live in Maryland, or they live in Delaware. They live, somewhere in around, live in Washington D.C. They don't live in the area. Most of these don't live in the house. Many of them already have a house. So where we're going is we want motivated people, like expired listings. If they've been on the market for 6 months a year, they're probably motivated to sell. So we're looking for motivated people. This is a list that we get on a monthly basis, hundreds and hundreds of these people, hundreds, that are motivated, very motivated. This is the letter that we sent out. And I'll give you a copy of this letter. Our agents get a copy of this letter, by the way. They can get a copy, they can do this. They get a copy of this. They get what our agents get. They get a copy of all the work we do at no cost. They get the names of the sellers. They get the names of the people who pass away. They get the name of the property. They get where the executor lives. They get everything. Get all the data. Now, what you're going to be doing is making these calls as well. But this is a beautiful thing because they've already got a letter. Letters have already gone out on these people. Typically, we get calls back on these people. They call us. We get 1 or 2 calls a month that say, can you get somebody to come out and talk to us? That's how good these are. They call us. We don't even call them. So, but, different call, isn't it? This is a different call from an expired or withdrawal. This is somebody, one of their relatives has passed away. So we got to be a little bit more delicate with this situation. Here at Rebate, we have hauling trucks. I don't want to get into too much with that, but I am today actually hauling out 2 estates, two different estates that we have that we're going to list. But the houses are completely full of debris. Actually, 7 huge truckloads of debris, and we're getting those out today for the estate. And we gave them a beautiful price. We beat everybody. So we can help estates with a lot of different services.
So you go in and clean out the house?
In many cases, whatever the estate needs.
So you contract that out, or?
We do it. We have it in house.
Okay.
So we gave them a price. It's all done. It's being done today. And then the sellers will list the properties. So how we come into play is we got to know what our competition is.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Before you go further, you don't lock the seller into a contract. You do this, and they could cancel with you at any time.
Well, there's 2 different services. There's a lot of different services that we provide. For example, in this particular case, they haven't listed with us yet. They've contracted with us to clean the house out.
Just to clean out the house?
Right now.
So there's a fee that they're paying
Oh,
you
yes.
to come?
That
Okay,
contract
I
is
understand. I said, well,
Now,
how are you making money,
they're not ready to list because it's not prepared or appropriate right now because they'll list probably in next week. But
So-
they are going to list
So
with us.
if they list, do you do like the staging if that's necessary? Or
Whatever's necessary for that property. And even if there's repairs required, we'll get a licensed contractor in there to give them prices for that.
Again, and there's no the seller is not locked into a contract?
They're locked. Here's how it works. You always have to have a beginning date and an ending date. That's what makes things legal in any binding agreement. You
Right.
have to have a beginning and end. But what makes ours so unique is they can cancel at any time.
I see. So as long as you fulfill the terms of the contract, beginning and ending date.
We have a beginning, so if I
They
say,
can
I can say, okay, let's sign now, but once you sign, if you're not happy in an hour from now, just call me up and we'll take it off.
I understand.
So that gives you
That-
freedom.
That I understand.
Free
Sorry.
at last. You are free to be able to do what you need to do. If I say it isn't so, then guess what? You have that. Now again, sellers can do, agents can do whatever they want to do, and they can tie it up for 30 days, they can tie it up for 60 days, 90 days. Typically, most of the real estate companies want to bind you up for 4 months. Now, I understand some of the reasons why they do that. And it depends upon, and sometimes, how much money I'm going to put out. Now, let's suppose that I'm going to put out $2,000 of marketing for a property. I don't want you canceling me in one day.
That's
If
right.
I've just put out $2,000, do you think that would be fair?
No, and
No.
that's what I'm thinking.
So we got to be reasonable in what we do. Just as long as we're reasonable and fair. It's all about fairness. What do we try to create in life? What do we try to create in life? Win-win, don't we? Just as long as we have win-win in our life, that's all what we're looking for is fairness and win-win. But I can tell you, we're going to give much more than any other realtor out there by far. That's why I know when we get out there, they're going to pick us and choose us.
Okay. I'm on board. I understand that.
So, without question, some of these people, where they're living, some of these properties are not even close in addresses. They don't want these properties. They're going to call somebody, whether it be a realtor, they're going to call an investor. They don't want these properties. They want to sell these properties. It's their aunt, their uncle, their mother, their father. Somebody's passed away, and they may or may not, in most cases, want to sell these properties. These are motivated sellers. But we're calling, this is a good call. We're sorry about their loss, for sure. But we're calling in reference to the letter that we sent. That goes into a lot of the services in which we provide. Rebate Realty USA also auctions properties. We're an auction company. We provide auction services. We also can buy properties. So if they want a quick sale, and they want to get it sold and settled in a week's time, we can do that as well. If they want fast dollars, we can do that. They want to know what top dollar is, we can provide that service. They need clean out services, we can provide that. They need staging or repairs to the property, we can provide that. So we're a full service, even beyond full service for a real estate company. We wear different hats, not like they're going to get with most real estate companies. We do different things. So we're coming in from many different angles. That's the beauty. That's what, in this case, when we're marketing probates, we're differentiating ourselves. Remember what I said in the book. The book says, how do you differentiate? What do you do different? What do we do different is the fact that, by the way, some of these properties, they may want to auction them. We do auctions. Why would they want to sell to an investor when you have 5 investors that may want that property? Well, which one would you sell it to? The one that would offer me the more money? Or do you think that they're going to tell you what they're going to offer? Why don't you put for auction and get all 5 of them out there one time and bid against each other? Because you see, they're all going to come at you one at a time. I've been doing auctions for 25 years. I already know that you get more at auction than you will. So if you got a hot property, put it at auction. Watch that thing rock. Watch it rock. you'd be amazed what you get at auction. I've gotten more money at auction than I have in putting on multiple list in many cases. That's what I can, when I go talk to these people, that's what I can advise them.